All right, here we go. Welcome to the Buzz Pod. I'm your host, Nico Blatchman, and sitting in front of me, after a long morning of probably taking baseballs to the chest, is Billy Sweezey. Welcome to the pod.
What's up, Nico? Thanks for having me, man. I'm pumped to be here.
Oh, man, I'm pumped to have you. I really hope the people understood that joke because you asked me, you have a lot of similarities to Billy Madison. I think you look like him. Your name is Billy. You're a funny guy. Do you get that a lot or no?
Yeah, I get it a little bit. I got to think everyone's seen that movie, right? Like by now.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you haven't seen that movie, you're probably not listening to this podcast. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say the listeners they've seen it.
Oh my God! Thank God. I hope so. But let's talk a little bit about you. We were just texting. You were coding in your free time. Obviously, you go to Yale. You're a super genius. You were mentioning a thesis that you just turned in. I'd love to hear a bit about that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I actually just finished up school yesterday. We went and we had to go online for the remainder of the spring once spring break happened, which was brutal. But yeah, just finished my last requirement for my biomedical engineering degree. Turned in my thesis last night on the process of electrospinning nanofibers, which was pretty fun to which was pretty fun to do. It was a good 17-page report on it, so it was good. It's good to get it behind me.
Oh my God. Yeah, if you're listening to this podcast, you also didn't understand that probably. Can you talk a bit about that? Like, what is all that, like, in very broad terms? Like, dumb it down a lot.
It's basically this machine that creates these really small fibers in order to like replicate this like structure that's in a cell. And the lab that I was working with uses it a lot to like run experiments to kind of figure out how cells like or how like proteins and stuff like move through it, how cells interact with it. And so like the importance of it is trying to create like the most like replicable like structure of it in a lab instead of like
right on. I'm sure your professor understood it.
Yeah, no, it was good. I can send it to you after this too if you want to brush up on your lecture.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. But you listen, you're from Hanson, Massachusetts. You got the big B right there behind you. You actually are one of the few guys. Actually, you're the only guy that I know that I went on his elite prospects, and you know how they always got the link for the siblings? Like, I've seen dads there, I've seen brothers, but you got your dad and your mom on your prospects page. They both played for Providence College hockey team. Obviously, your mom played for the women's team, and your dad also. But can you talk a bit about growing up in a hockey house? Like, both your parents played hockey. You're growing up in a place like Boston where hockey's big, hockey. So
yeah, I mean, I obviously grew up around the game, like you said. It was kind of a family affair. My dad always jokes that I skated out of the womb. I didn't get yanked. But actually, funny, one of my dad's sisters actually was a goalie as well. I guess she didn't make the elite prospects cut.
She did. She did.
I'm hearing stories that she was pretty good, but no, I mean, I started at a young age, like probably most guys. I was on skates at like probably 2 or 3, like doing the learn to skate, learning how to stop. Still fight it with that one a little bit, but no, I mean, it was good. It's great to have the support system, especially when it came time for college and trying to figure out the whole system, like where to go, like programs, coaches, like how to do the interactions, the visits, like they all went through it, so it's good to, like I said, have that support system and be able to lean on, them for if I had questions it was good.
Yeah, definitely. I can see how I could have helped. I could have used that actually, but anyway, you grew up. You played for Noble and Greenboro School. You ended up getting the C there. Not a big deal. I think that's like a pretty well-known school over there in that area. I know a couple Boston kids. I know a couple kids that went there. You know Mike Fahey actually.
Yeah. I saw you at his house one time. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do now. So yeah, that's the connection there. I do now. Tough memory on the kid. But talk about your time there at Noble and Greenboro. I'm pretty sure that's close to your house, so you were probably living at home maybe. And talk about like being able to live at home or very close to home. At like at the age where like a lot of guys are leaving home to go to prep schools and stuff. You got to stay right there in your backyard. You obviously had success there, like most points in your whole career by far. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible experience. So I actually did 5 years of high school. I went to a small Catholic school for 2 years called Archbishop Williams. Made varsity as a freshman, and I was in the top. Yeah, I was in the top two D pair, and the other three guys were seniors. So sophomore year there, I really got the chance to kind of like lead the D corps as like a younger guy, which was great. But after that, I kind of knew, if I wanted to go anywhere, I kind of had to get out of there. If I wanted to take a chance at this whole hockey thing. So I ended up looking into schools, got into Noble and Greeno school pretty late, actually. It was like August, right before junior year started. So I made like a late summer switch. And just taking a step up in hockey was huge. Like taking a step up in academics was huge. It was a great experience. It was actually, it's not too far. So I did get to stay at home, like no traffic. It would be like 45-minute ride. So that was nice for like weekends.
So Boston, you're talking 2 hours.
Yeah. So I'd be driving like an hour 45 each way for my junior and my sophomore. I repeated sophomore year when I got there. For my sophomore, junior year, I was driving like hour 45 each way. I actually drove our buddy Fahey there for a year. And those were grinds. I mean, I was getting up at 5:45 to like shove a bagel in my gut and like get out of the house to like make it to attendance assembly at 8. It took me, one day it was snowing. It took me like 3.5 hours to get there. I was ready to turn around like 20 minutes into the ride. But my senior year, I actually lived there. I was lucky enough to board because like I was just sick of the drives. And but like you said, like that's not abnormal. A lot of guys were doing that. So it was kind of nice to get the independence of like living away from home, but also it was only 5-day boarding. So I was home on the weekends. So it was kind of a really good transition period for me in all aspects, in hockey and academics and just in life, just kind of taking that step away from home. So it was great. Played with some great guys. We had pretty good teams there every year. Made it to the Elite Eight twice. Pretty good coaches. I had Jeff Sorowick, longtime guy at NHL, played Penguins, Bruins. Just kind of bouncing around a bit, but he was a great mentor for me. So overall, it was an unbelievable experience.
Yeah, and then from there, you go on. You play your first junior season for the Chicago Steel. You actually wore an A, according to Elite Prospects. I don't remember that, but 55 games played, 3 goals, 1 assist for 4 points, and 131 PIMs. A whopping 131 PIMs. Can you like talk a bit about your game? Because I played with you. I obviously know the way you play. But I mean, you just signed a 2-year AHL deal, having only 1 goal in your first year, 1 goal in your second year, 1 goal in your third year, 0 goals this year. I had 0 goals this year. I didn't get a contract. You know what I mean? So talk about what you do that makes you special. That like, what's your game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like a shutdown. I try to play tough defenseman. Try to get under guys' skins, just kind of try to shut down. I love playing against the other guys, other teams' top line. Like something I pride myself on. Like, I look at the score sheet after the game and try to make sure those guys had, big fat zeros. But yeah, I mean, not a huge scorer. I mean, I like to think the offensive side's gotten a bit better here and there throughout the years. I was saving my 1 goal this year for the next round of playoffs. We were slotted to go to Quinnipiac, but the whole coronavirus thing stopped me from, putting one top shelf from the blue line, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, I just try to play hard, try to shut guys down, and I love doing it. It's something that, that's why I got recruited to Yale. They pretty much straight up told me that. And, my head coach, Keith Elaine, when I came in, he was like, by the time you're out of this place, you can be, the best shutdown guy in the ECAC if you want to. Like, and I was like, wow, all right. I mean, if that's your goal for me, that's my goal for me. So I'm just going to commit to that. And I think I really took it to heart. And I think that's one of the reasons I had success, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to have a guy in your corner, especially when he's your head coach.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that helps. But you had let's go back to your first junior season. That's like the first year you're wearing a visor. You're going into junior, I'd say a bit late as an older guy. And you were obviously I don't know if you were, but you had more points at Noble, so maybe you weren't playing that game yet. But did you find that you put up 131 PIMs that year? So when you went in there, were you like, I'm gonna fucking kill guys? I'm gonna it's visor time,
Yeah. Honestly, to be frank, my transition from prep school to juniors was way harder for me than juniors to college, which I think might be different for a lot of people from what I've heard. Because like you said, at Nobles, I was kind of able to, it was my high points ever. Like, I kind of was able to contribute offensively. It helped. We had a great team. We had Miles Wood, Cal Burke, Colin White was there for a year with me. We had a pretty loaded front end. So, I guess, breaking the puck out to those guys and having them go end to end really helped me. But no, it was tough because I didn't really know, at that point, I didn't really know to embrace the player that I am. And actually, so our head coach there was Dan Muse, as you remember. And he's actually the guy that recruited me to Yale. And he, it just so happened that he ended up getting the head coaching job my year going there. And he helped me. That was my most formative year of hockey by far with him. Beginning of the year, then training camp, he sat me down. He's like, I'm going to push you way harder than the other guys because, I have a little bit more invested in you. I recruited you to Yale. I know what they want. I know what they expect when you get there. And I'm just going to make you into that. So my first maybe 10, 15 games of the USHL year, I wasn't playing bad by any means, but I wasn't what I could have been in his eyes. And we were on the road one weekend, forget where, but I ended up getting scratched because Friday night, maybe, he just finally, it all culminated. He's like, I gotta reset this kid. And we had our pregame meeting or whatever, meal. And then I was back up in my hotel room, obviously pissed I'm not playing that night, just trying to think of what I can do, and get a text from Musey to come down and meet him in the lobby for lunch. So I go down and he kind of just sat me down and was like, listen, we're not seeing what we think we should, but this is what we need you to do. This is the stuff you're doing well. Keep doing that. This is the stuff you got to work on though. We got to really bang this stuff out, fine tune these parts of your game. And you got to just kind of embrace being this shutdown guy. And then it helped. After that, I really felt like I kind of started taking over. I had more confidence, obviously knowing, like you said, that you got a coach that's behind you and wants you to play a certain way. He wanted me to play hard. Didn't care too much if I was taking penalties that were just me playing hard. And, it was just the dumb ones that he'd get me on. But no, it was incredible. Musey helped me out big time. I still text him. He's up with the Nashville Predators now. I'll still talk to him. He called me a week back after I signed, which was great to hear from him.
Talk a bit about did you fight? You obviously had to fight that year, no?
Yeah, I got in a couple. I think 3 or 4.
Okay, and you obviously did well. Big Billy Madison.
Yeah, I did all right. Yeah, I actually ended up fighting a lot of guys who had a lot of points. So I was fighting skill guys, which was kind of weird.
Great, it's the best. So you're pumping them.
Yeah, no, it was funny. Nothing out there though.
What's that?
Nothing like your fights when you're out there.
Oh well, that's just. Let's get back to you. Why don't we? You go to Yale. So you mentioned that you had already been recruited to Yale when you went to the Chicago Steel. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. He's going bananas right now. But after the Chicago Steel, you go to Yale. Your first year, you go in as a freshman. That year in the Chicago Steel, were you a 20 bomb?
No, I turned 20 halfway through the season. Yeah.
Okay, so it was your last.
Late. I was literally pretty late going there.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So then you go in as a freshman to Yale, which is Ivy League if you're wondering. Um, but you play 33 games. That's like every game, pretty much. I'm assuming, or close to it. And then talk about like your first experience there at Yale, just going in. I know when you get to school, you guys got a little period of time where you don't have hockey yet. So can you talk a bit about like your first impressions of the place? Because I mean, I don't even know people of that caliber brain.
Yeah, I mean, hockey wise, it was just kind of like, an itch to get on the ice. Like our ice isn't even in, so we're going to like a couple towns away to like skate in like Northford at like 7 a.m. and then you got to come back and do like a full slate of classes for the day. And it was kind of honestly the beginning kind of a grind, just especially coming from juniors trying to figure it all out. I mean, I'm sure it happens everywhere, but jumping into like the academic rigor of like an Ivy League was like, especially from taking a year off of school, it was just like it was nuts. Like I kind of finagled my schedule to take classes that I all took in high school, so I kind of did all right, which was good, but it was still just tough, like getting back into doing homework after practice, like but yeah, like you said, like the first like 2 months we're not even on the ice, like we're working out like 4 times a week with our trainer, and it's just like you just want to get out there, and like you see these other teams are already having scrimmages and you're just like, the fuck's going on here? Like
Is it
it was a bit of like what's that?
I said, is this Division One?
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like a bit of a shell shock, honestly, because it's probably not quite what you expect. Like, probably thought like I was gonna be able to come, like jump on the ice whenever I wanted to, like fucking in between classes or something. Like after, like
Skip a class to get an extra skate.
yeah, like bag yourself instead of going to fucking math class.
But no, but like so you go to Yale your freshman year, obviously you had success, and your years after that, like you were obviously in the lineup every night. I think your second year, you only played 30 games. Like, did you have like a bit of an injury or something going on there?
Yeah, so I missed that year. I missed one to injury and one to scratch sophomore year. And then because we only played, that's the other thing. We don't play. We play 5 or 6 less games than most teams. So like freshman
Yeah,
year,
I realize that.
33 was every game plus a playoff series. And then sophomore year would have been 32 was every game plus 2 playoff series. I think it's like it's nuts. But yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to, they always kind of trusted me to get in the lineup. So I was playing most nights, which was obviously good for the confidence. And like I said, I kind of had the coaches behind me, like in my ear, just like commit to this role, commit to this role. That's what's going to give you success. And, that's what I did. And I kept getting in, which was good.
You're a 6'2", 200 and something pound stud on the Division I hockey team of Yale University. You already graduated yesterday. Can you talk a bit about the party life? Is it nice there being a Division I hockey player? Like, do you guys get to have like the fun? Because when you think Ivy League, you think serious, right? But then you think Division I hockey Ivy League could be a solid mix.
Yeah, you'd actually be really surprised at how much fun this place is. I was shocked. Like you said, I thought I was going to come here and there's going to be a bunch of just like pickles running around campus. But no, it's incredible. Like, so it's more of like, we're obviously in the city of New Haven. So like there's a bunch of bars around. That's a big part of the scene. And then you got a little bit of Greek life. They got some, there's like 1 or 2 streets with like most of the Greek houses. So they're throwing a bunch of shit. And then you got a bunch of the athletes, have houses. It's like we got a house with 8 guys and
a hockey house.
Yeah, we got the hockey house with 8 guys in it. I actually live the building next to it in an apartment with 5 other guys on the team. So we kind of had half our team right next to each other. Yeah, no, we definitely had our fun. But
yeah, so you were drafted in 2014. You were drafted 229th overall by Cape Breton Screaming Eagles in the QMJHL. Did you ever consider going there or never?
No, I never really thought about it. College was definitely always my route. My dad's always been on me about school. I've always kind of done well. So I knew like, honestly, if like college was the end of the line for hockey, like if I could use it to get me, somewhere, and luckily it got me to a place like Yale and I got this degree I could always fall back on, which is awesome. Funny story, actually, I was at one of my buddy's house the day of that draft, and I didn't even know that it was going on because I hadn't even thought about going there, and I hadn't talked to any teams. And one of my other buddies called me and was like, "Dude, congrats!" And I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, what'd I do?" And he's like, "You just got drafted like to the queue." I was like, "Oh, like cool." And I ended up getting a Facebook message from one of their like recruiters or GM or something, and I feel a little bad, but I didn't see it because it was like you had to like accept
in the request,
yeah. So I saw it like 4 months later, and I ghosted the guy, so I felt a little bad about that.
29 overall pick. That's how they reach out to them nowadays. They fucking request a DM.
Yeah, not even a goddamn phone call, just a Facebook.
Like, hey, should we get this kid's number? Like, nah, he's got a Facebook.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, man, that's a tough look.
Yeah.
Can you run us through a day in the life like at Yale? Obviously, actually, what's a game day like? Do you guys have to go to school on game day when you have class?
Yeah. So there's actually not a ton of Friday classes here. Most classes are Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. Like, there's not many that are on Fridays unless you're in usually freshman, sophomore year. You have them Fridays because the language requirement. Those are 5 days a week, which is absolute bag. It's brutal. So yeah, those years you would have to go. I mean, yeah. So like those classes you kind of have to go to, and then honestly, a lot of the lectures, even if they are on Fridays, like you can kind of just breeze them, which is nice. So I only had I had the languages, and then only like 1 or 2 other times I had classes on Friday mornings, and I'd go sometimes, not go others. But so Fridays we'd have ice at noon. So I love pregame skate. I have to get out there before a game, just like get a sweat in, do something. Like I'd skate Saturdays before games too, with like nobody, like no one else would go out. So go skate, then we get meeting at 2, meal right after, and then kind of just head home. And I'm not a big nap guy either, so I was just kind of crushing Netflix TV on the couch with like one of my other roommates. Head to the rink around 5. I don't like getting there too early. I kind of just like showing up and like getting ready and getting right out there.
I hear that.
So I'd get there 5, maybe a little after, and we'd have like a PK meeting. There'd be this thing called the power play meeting too going on. I don't know what that was all about. I usually stayed far, far away from that one.
Dude, any meeting for me was like, no.
Yeah. You had disciplinary meetings, man.
Yeah, I had a couple of those. Those are usually phone calls, though. I have some fucking vivid memories of junior hockey. Just like the assistant coach comes in, calls a meeting. The other assistant coach comes in, calls a meeting. The head coach comes in, calls a meeting, and I'm just sitting there with 2 other guys, 1 or 2 other guys, just the 3 guys that don't go to the meeting. No, but so keep going. Sorry to interrupt that. Keep going from then. So you guys do a little video. When you guys eat though, do you guys eat together as a team?
Yeah. So we get a meal in the lounge and everyone eat. We'd hang out there for like half hour, and then guys are going home, usually to nap. And like I said, I just kind of come hang out, and then head to the rink about 5, and we'd warm up like 5:45 off the ice, on the ice like 6:30, and puck drop at 7.
And then it's time to take people's heads off.
Exactly. Try to lay someone out for a shift.
Try to fuck someone's thesis paper up.
Yeah. School.
Oh my God. So you mentioned you were over there at school still. I'm sure some of the boys are still there finishing up school. Can you talk about what you've been up to now during these times, during the quarantine? Maybe what book you're reading, since you're a mad genius, and Netflix, if that works in your coding computer.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough, obviously. Like all the guys are pretty much finished up with school either today or tomorrow. So guys have kind of been grinding through that. But yeah, we've just kind of been hanging out, trying to booze a little bit when we can, just kind of get these last days of this senior spring that we were supposed to. Our whole team was actually supposed to be down in Myrtle Beach as of yesterday. So that was a tough one to look. That was a tough calendar to look at and see that I'm still in New Haven, Connecticut, and not, North Myrtle Beach.
Oh God, that is tough.
But yeah, we're hanging out. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty Warzone. I've been doing a lot of that. Yeah.
What do you got buzzing on Netflix? You watching anything? Don't mention. Listen, no Tiger King talk on here.
No, I've stayed clear of that.
Okay, good. Oh, so smart people stay clear of that. All right, that's good to know.
Yeah, I usually get a movie in me a day, just a bunch of different shit. Been watching. We just started Entourage for like the 5th time in this house.
Incredible.
Yeah, and then I've been trying to teach myself to code on the side, my free time.
Normal stuff.
Yeah, it's been good. Just trying to stay busy. I'm probably heading home here in like a week or two. Just.
Yeah, so can you talk about how you coded your way into an AHL contract, 2 years with the Pittsburgh Penguins? I kind of got into their system. No, but talk about how that just kind of evolved through your career at Yale. Obviously, you had to go there to become like one of the best shutdown defensemen, and clearly you signed a 2-year pro deal. You're gonna get paid to play hockey, and you had 0 goals this season. So I assume you're a great shutdown defenseman, an unbelievable shutdown defenseman. So talk about just like getting a contract in the AHL. You signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins organization, a 2-year. Talk about like leading up to that and how that feels.
Yeah, well, luckily they're not paying me for my offensive production, or else I wouldn't be getting a lot of money. But yeah, no, I mean, I've kind of just, I've had some interest from teams through my 4 years here. I was lucky enough to got invited to Boston's Dev Camp and Buffalo's the year after. Those are great experiences as well. I had a great time, learned a lot.
Did you fight at camp?
I got close in Boston's. We were doing maybe one of my favorite drills, just like net in the corner, just throw a puck in one-on-one, and me and this kid just kept going at it, just kind of like smoking each other, and we got close, but no, they weren't great. Like they weren't really big like fighting scenes.
I hear you. 1v1 battle drill.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yo, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Yeah, they're asking for it there, honestly. No, and yeah, so Pitt's kind of been a team that's been watching me, and I've heard's been interested, and by like halfway through this year, my advisor called, kind of was telling me, this kind of looks like the organization that would be a good fit, that's really high on you, and when the shitstorm that happened, that was the end of the season of like the ups and downs. I mean, we went from winning in double overtime against Union on Saturday to our whole season being canceled on Wednesday. It was nuts. And we actually pulled out before the league canceled too. So we thought we were just kind of screwed for a night, which was tough to swallow. But, a couple days after that, or pretty much the day after, I was hearing word that, I was potentially going to go finish out the season in Wilkes-Barre, with the Penguins. And, then they ended up canceling. So that was another tough pill to swallow. So it went from being like a lot of highs to a lot of lows quick there. And after that, I was kind of just told I just kind of got to wait this thing out, and we just got to kind of see what happens. Like I didn't know what was going to happen, if I was going to just get like invited to a camp and have to try and make it, if I was going to hear word soon, if it was going to be months later. And finally, eventually, one night I was actually I was on FaceTime with my thesis advisor, getting ripped apart for my presentation that I had to give. And it was like 2 hours in, I got a call from my advisor and from my hockey advisor, and just like, yeah, hey, so got some good news. Like, Pitt wants to offer you an A deal. Like, gives me the details. He's like, what do you think? And I was like, yeah, I mean,
you're like, yeah, hold on, hey, teacher, yeah. Fuck you.
I was like, yeah, hey, I'm done with the presentation now. I don't care about your notes. But,
that's hilarious. Good time.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, I kind of took his word for it if that was the right place. And then I was like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's lock it down. And got the contract emailed to me the next day and signed it as fast as I possibly could and sent it back.
Yo, did you send that email? Yeah, we already got it back. It's signed. Kids quit. No, but so talk a bit about what you're gonna be doing this summer to prepare for your first pro season. Obviously, hopefully this thing's starting to die down a bit, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right. I'm hoping next year doesn't get delayed at all, obviously, because I think I'm just kind of waiting for that. From what I heard, I'm just waiting for training camp, and I'll head there and then get sent down to Wilkes-Barre. But yeah, I'm gonna be hanging at home in Mass this summer. I'll work out at Edge Performance Systems in Foxborough, which I.
Oh, up there at the top of the rink, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, good spot, man. They're awesome there. You know, Brian McDonough runs a good ship. He's got great support staff too. Like, they just they push you too. They put you on those goddamn fan bikes and just wait till you collapse. But
don't a lot of guys like Patriots and stuff, a lot of NFL guys and NHL guys in there? That's where the Chowder Cup is held, actually, right?
Yeah.
The Chowder.
Yeah, the Chowder Cup.
Yeah, that's sick, dude. That's sick.
Yeah, he ended up Brian McDonough, the guy that owns it. He ended up making a deal with the Pats, so he works out a bunch of those guys. He's over at Gillette a bunch. They're in and out in the morning too, usually before the hockey guys. But yeah, they're mostly football and hockey. They got a couple lax guys in there as well, so they got a good core group. And like I said, it's great workouts. They really push you, and I attribute a lot to the athlete I am now to them. I've been going there since probably I started Nobles when I'm home. So yeah, I'll do that, and do that 5 times a week probably, and just skate. I haven't been a big skater in the summer since college started. I used to skate every day if I could, and I'd get so burned out during the season. And last summer I didn't even really start skating until August, and then I would skate twice a week maybe. I just feel way better during the season. I get in the season, I'm just excited to be on the ice again, every day. And
yeah, I hear that. I can relate to that.
Yeah,
I find I like to take time off the ice after the season, but stay in the gym. But
yeah,
everyone's got their own thing. But that's I like that. You stay off the ice, maybe get into the batting cage and take some off the ice. Holy fuck, we're gonna end that with that though. But Billy, dude, thanks for coming on, man. I can't wait to see you just dishing the puck to Sidney Crosby after eating it off the face in the future.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me. It's a great time.
Yeah, unreal.